Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Planet of the Apes review marathon. Only 2 more left, and yep, we've come to the second to last ape film for me to review. And yeah, this, of course, being a follow-up to Rise, and after the surprising success of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and yeah, 20th Century Fox, they did it for sure this time by bringing this franchise back from the dead. And we wouldn't have to wait too long for another ape film to emerge. Yeah, emerge. But we'd have to wait until 3 years after Rise. And when we did get the next installment of this new piece of Planet of the Apes material in the Planet of the Apes franchise, it once again did not disappoint. They did it again, and this time, Dawn, that being the title, Dawn being in the hands and being directed by good old Matt Reeves. So yes, from 2014, and seeing as how it's celebrating its anniversary, I'm reviewing Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the next installment after Rise, and, you know, in this new Planet of the Apes installment, with these new stories to be told. Yeah, so again, Dawn did not disappoint, and it did not disappoint for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I'm not sure, and before I get to war, I feel like it's probably Dawn. I feel like it's probably one of my favorites in this piece of Planet of the Apes, if you get what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, don't get me wrong, like, Rise is fantastic, but so is Dawn. I think Dawn is really good, because like I said, it did not disappoint. I know it didn't disappoint for audiences as well as the fans of Planet of the Apes, including me. This was really good. A good sequel, you know, after what the first one had in store, you know, which being Rise. And yeah, just the intense and some unexpected moments and a lot of, you know, a bit of funny and a lot of emotional moments, I tell you. Yeah, this movie, this Planet of the Apes movie, I should be saying, it did a really good job with all that. And of course, Matt Reeves, whom directed this, and he would go on to direct the next/third installment in this new piece of Planet of the Apes. And not to mention, Matt Reeves is the second director to direct Planet of the Apes, something Planet of the Apes, and also something Batman. Because Tim Burton being the first. You see what I mean? It just talk about a huge coincidence. But hey, it's pretty cool. And the thing is, like, Tim Burton, he first directed something Batman, and then he would do something Planet of the Apes. But for Matt Reeves, it's the other way around. He did something Planet of the Apes first, and then would go on to do something Batman. So there you go. All right, but enough said. As always, read the description / the story. 10 years after simian flu, if I'm sure I might be still pronouncing that right. Yeah, simian flu wiped out much of the world's Homo sapiens. Genetically enhanced chimpanzee Caesar and his ever-growing band of followers have established a thriving colony just outside San Francisco in Muir Woods. Meanwhile, a small band of human survivors emerges, which forces Caesar, as leader, to grapple with the dual challenge of protecting his people and re-establishing a relationship with the remaining human population, the latter being Caesar's secret wish. All right, so Dawn itself, because with the opening to this movie, you know, aside from the 20th Century Fox logo, excuse me, well, because, you know, again, yeah, because, yeah, I'm not sure, because maybe the movie did establish it, but I didn't notice it at first, and nor did I, you know, caught what they were hearing. So apparently, because yeah, taking place 10 years after what happened in the events of Rise. Well, because the flu, because of what happened at that laboratory, and with using that drug / cure, that stuff, like testing it on the primates, and then it's working. It's okay for them, but not for the humans. It's just slowly but surely killing them. And we see and hearing news reports and seeing TV footage that things are not looking too good for the human population. People wearing masks, some of them dying, and just flat out, attacks and such out in the streets, and it's crazy. And how it seems like one day the human population is gonna be wiped from existence on Earth, and all that will be left are the primates themselves, the apes. Then, this was a heck of a way to, really start the movie. A close-up shot of Caesar's eyes. And once again, Caesar being played by good old Andy Serkis, and we see them out in the woods, where they're at in San Francisco. A different part of the woods, not the redwoods, I'm pretty sure. And we see, because all the primates, you wonder at first, are they're keeping an eye out and keeping quiet for humans? No, they're just hunting for food. They're hunting deer and such. Even at one point, Caesar's son, Blue Eyes, that's his name, being played by Nick Thurston, trying to help out his dad. And we once again get the appearance of Koba, this time being played by Toby Cabell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got the last name right. At one point, because Blue Eyes gets tangled with a bear, and Caesar and Koba helping out, especially Koba, jumping from behind the bear and stabbing the bear, just killing the bear instantly. And Caesar knows that his son, Blue Eyes, was trying to help out, but told him something, gave him advice and so on. And we see, because where they live, in the woods of San Francisco, I tell you, because, them living in this civilization, I guess technically, this would be Ape City for them, I guess, but, I mean, really, it is a village and such for them, and them, keeping away from the humans, I guess so. With these apes, and like in the first one, Rise, because them doing sign language and so on, but there are times later on in the film where they do speak, of course, having the capability to speak because of what was injected in them and such. Caesar passed it on to them, and being highly intelligent and having the ability to speak English, we also get the introduction of Caesar. We saw his son. We also get the appearance of his wife, Cornelia, being played by Judy Greer. Yeah, Judy Greer. She's done a lot of films and such, and she's a good actress, and basically, Cornelia, she's in bed, and she's, being attended to, and, well, it turns out, and we see it, it's a very touching moment and very sweet. Cornelia gave birth to to hers and Caesar's second child. I believe a little baby boy chimp, I'm pretty sure, And Caesar introducing Blue Eyes to his, little chimp brother. And there is a moment between Caesar and Maurice, being once again played by Karen Conovel. I'm pretty sure I still got her full name right, most notably her last name, having a moment, and Maurice asking, because Maurice is a really good character because, very, kind and such, and very caring, and how Maurice feels towards the humans, and how loyal he is to Caesar, their friendship, and so on. Yeah, Maurice is definitely a good character, and the more we get of Caesar in this, So Maurice having a conversation with Caesar about humans, and if he misses them, anything like that, and Caesar, in response, sometimes. And they're wondering, well, are there no more humans on Earth? I mean, that's the question. Well, that is until two young chimps, they're out doing some hunting, I guess, and they stumble upon one human who begins to panic, and then he whips out a gun, and he I guess so, he accidentally shot one of them, just wounding them, not killing them directly and such. And we see a group of other humans, and, well, the apes are informed and alerted by this, and they all gather and they surround these humans. And the human characters in this, well, the first human we saw, and who accidentally shot one of those two young apes, Carver, that's his name, being played by Kirk Kevedo, whatever, just, me sometimes, bear with me. Then there's also one of the main human characters, Malcolm, being played by Jason Clarke. I know I've seen Jason Clarke before in a bunch of other films. I know I've seen him before. And there's also Ellie, being played by Kerry Russell. Yep, I know her, definitely. And there's also Alexander, the son of Malcolm. He's Malcolm's son, being played by Cody Smith McPhee. I know I've seen him before, too, yeah. Because they're surrounded by the apes, and Malcolm telling them to put their weapons down, and, interacting with Caesar, because he can tell that, who he's facing and staring at is the leader of the apes, and telling him that they come in peace, and again telling them to lower their weapons down. And what Caesar does next, I mean, he of course sees and notices clearly that one of his fellow primates has been wounded and such, and, well, Caesar looking directly at the humans and saying, "Go!" and them being surprised, and Carver just freaking out, holy shit, and that being Caesar's first speaking line in this movie. And you know what, because it's still a surprising and shocking moment, don't you think? I mean, I've even seen, some reactors on YouTube, when they've reacted to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, them being surprised as well. I mean, by now, of course, that Caesar now can speak, but still, just, he didn't speak English yet until at that moment. That's just what's so great. And they pulled it off once again. And so the humans, they do listen and they do leave. But, even at one point, Alexander, he dropped a bag of his, and, well, the apes, they picked it up, and, well, he ordered Koba and two other apes to follow them, and, not to kill, but, peacefully follow them and see what they're doing and so on, and to see if there's any more, humans nearby, still in that location, San Francisco. Any humans still in San Francisco. And, well, because we see at San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge has survived. That's nice to see. And basically, what they were doing there, Malcolm, Ellie, Malcolm's son Alexander, and Carver, what they were doing there, well, we find out is because they were looking for the dam that's in San Francisco. The dam is the key and their only chance / hope to bring power back. Because by this point, there is no power and such, if not the entire world, or in just that part of Earth, in San Francisco. And one of the main humans, in charge of the colony, and that's basically what they're called, the colony in San Francisco, the humans still residing, and, who else is still there in San Francisco, being Dreyfus. Dreyfus being the one that's, he's kind of in charge, pretty much. Dreyfus being played by good old Gary Oldman. Yeah, Gary Oldman is in a Planet of the Apes movie, and, it's funny thing is, because, Gary Oldman, he was in something Batman, and he is in something Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves, who would go on to direct something Batman. You see the connection and just the math there? It's happened before, you know. In fact, you know, not to mention, some actors who have worked with Matt Reeves, they've also worked, other actors who've worked with Matt Reeves, they've also worked with Christopher Nolan, like, you know, Robert Pattinson, if you know about that. So anyways, they tell Dreyfuss, they report into Dreyfuss on, you know, what they saw there in that part of the woods, and you know, them trying to get to the dam and telling them about the apes being there and how one of them spoke. Dreyfuss is not sure about that, but of course, you know, all of them, not just Malcolm, everybody else being witnesses, and Dreyfuss telling them not to say a word about this to anybody in San Francisco, the colony, or, you know, or else panic will erupt and so on. And there is one moment, because we see in this one part of San Francisco, everybody is inhabited in one place of San Francisco, the colony that is, and, you know, them just chanting and so on, you know, and shouting, and there's a moment where Dreyfuss gives this speech to everybody, you know, if the apes don't, you know, cooperate and such, we will attack and so on, and, you know, about them trying to get power and to bring it back. You know, again, the dam is the only key and chance and / hope they have to restore power, nuclear power, and so on. Also, one moment, and can't forget to mention this, because, you know, this is after, well, because Koba and 2 apes, they followed them back to San Francisco, Malcolm and the others, and well, when they came back, that's when Caesar and all of the apes, I'm pretty sure all of them, they traveled to the city of San Francisco, and well, because yeah, an alarm went off, and well, because they were there not to attack, but basically, well, them opening the gates, them stepping out, Malcolm being the only one to get up close to them and up front Caesar on his horse, and Caesar speaking to them by first saying to the humans, you know, apes, and everybody just gasping. Wow. And just, yeah, that was really cool. And just, you know, them hearing, you know, an ape speaking for the first time. And basically, Caesar is giving the humans a message that they don't want to start a war. And, you know, they tell them, and, you know, he looks directly at Malcolm to, you know, not to come back to, you know, to where they're living and such in the woods, in their ape village. Even, I think, yeah, Blue Eyes, he went up, he got off his horse, went up to Malcolm, and returned his son's bag that he left behind, and they were looking through what was in his bag and such. Harmless things. So it was nice of Blue Eyes to, you know, simply just, you know, give it back to Malcolm. So, yeah, there's that. And a moment between Dreyfuss and Malcolm, and after that speech that Dreyfuss gave, and Malcolm asking permission from Dreyfuss to have 3 days to be there in the woods and try to negotiate and talk with the apes so they can proceed going to the dam and doing their work, trying to restore and bring power back. And Dreyfuss, yeah, it takes like a couple of minutes to convince Dreyfuss, but, you know, he lets Malcolm do what he wants to do, but, you know, 3 days, you know, if after 3 days pass by, and if they're not back and such, well, they're coming there, and they're going to be armed. So Malcolm, along with Ellie, his son Alexander, Carver, and also there was one, yeah, it's him, I believe it's him, yeah, Werner, being played by Jocko Sims. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. Yeah. The black guy tagging along, basically. You know, they all go to, you know, they go back to the mountains. Malcolm goes in the woods by himself, further in, trying to meet with the apes and their leader, and trying to get them to listen to him and believe him and to negotiate and so on. And it doesn't take too long, because when the further he goes into the woods and finding the entrance to where the apes live, well, because them popping up, and, well, thus they bring in Malcolm to, well, their leader, which being, of course, Caesar. And Malcolm trying to, assure Caesar on what he and the others want to do and such, and basically wants to show Caesar something. And Koba, Koba being the main antagonist, because, if you've seen Rise, you knew exactly what was going through Koba and half an hour into the movie and such, and how he feels towards humans. In this, oh my gosh, because his hatred for humans and such, and how slowly but surely he's starting to hate, being under the leadership of Caesar. And Caesar, he knows that Koba is a handful, and later on in the film, how much of a troublemaker Koba is being. So Koba doubting that, what Malcolm is saying, human lies and such. But Caesar, he does listen to Malcolm and asking Malcolm to, show him. And well, yeah, because they make their way to the dam, and what Malcolm shows Caesar. And then, Caesar decides to let them do what they have to do, fixing up and working on the dam and to bring power back. But under one condition, they have to get rid of their weapons. That's the one thing that they ask. By doing that, then they can proceed. And thus, that's what they do, getting rid of their guns. And later that evening, because, at a campsite, and just Carver just going on about the apes and such. He's not sure about the apes, and are you serious? Like, you want to believe them and so on, and talking about what happened those years ago, what the apes did and so on, and Carver being set straight by the others. And then Carver, he crosses the line, like, kind of pulls a dick move, like, looking and pointing at, say, Ellie, from Ellie and Malcolm to Ellie, mentioning to Ellie, didn't you have a daughter? And Malcolm, your wife died and such, and yeah, he's going too far. And even, this was, I liked what Werner did, you be quiet or I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah, you better stop, Carver. You're crossing the line. And Carver then says, and he said it himself, he said, what's the word I'm looking for? He said it himself about him, that, I'm the asshole. You are, Carver. You most certainly are. You said it loud and clear. You said it yourself about you. I liked that. I even kind of said that a little. I did kind of say that when that came up. So, like, you have those moments where, you say something to what a character says when you watch a movie. You get what I'm saying. And also about what, Carver said, towards Ellie and Malcolm. Even I kind of was having a feeling about this before that came up. I was having the feeling, and it turned out to be true, because, Ellie is in a relationship with Malcolm. Maybe they're married, I want to say. I mean, the movie doesn't establish it, but, her trying to connect with Malcolm's son, and, because, as Carver established, Malcolm, did sadly lose his wife, and, that being the mother to his and his wife's son, Alexander, I was right, and because the feeling I had, and, you have those moments where you think, and you just, is that, and then when it's revealed a little bit later on, oh, I was right, I had that moment, kind of, and, Ellie trying to connect with Alexander, and, and then, because, more moments at the, ape village, and especially moments between Caesar and Koba, and, Koba, what he says to Caesar about the humans and such, and, they shouldn't be trusted, and Caesar correcting Koba, but Koba still finding excuses, saying bad things about humans, like, what they did to him and so on, I mean, only the humans that what they did to Koba and all the others at the laboratory, just them, not all the humans, okay? just one of those things where, not everybody should be blamed, okay? So, yeah. Then the next day, it was pretty funny because, like, they wake up, the humans that is, and they are greeted by, a couple of apes, and even Maurice being there. I kind of realized that, just morning, so, and they proceed on what they're doing, with the dam and so on. And it's going pretty well. And then at one point, because I think, because how further they're coming along with doing the dam and such, even at one point, Malcolm and a couple of others, they got stuck, but then the apes, they helped out, getting them out of there and such, when they were, like, caved in with rocks and so on. Nice on the apes' part. Then at one point, because, Blue Eyes, Caesar's son, showing up, and even along with Blue Eyes, his little baby chimp brother, and then because of what happened when they were caved in by those rocks, Carver / the asshole, as he called himself, he got wounded, by one of his legs. And the bottom of his legs, that is, and, while attending to his wounds, Blue Eyes' little baby chimp brother, just approaching Ellie and Alexander, greeting them. It is a cute moment. It is a very sweet and cute moment, just, the little baby chimp interacting with them, and even, like, trying to interact with Carver a little bit, and then, he's snooping around, like, a toolbox and such, obviously from Carver, and that's when, oh boy, because, the little baby chimp, was the baby chimp ever given a name? I'll have to look and see, because if there is, then, I'll put a text. So, accidentally, whipping out, like, a gun or something, and Carver just panicking and, like, get away from that and such, and then panic erupts a little bit, like, Blue Eyes and a couple of apes, just, getting up to Carver and such, and, just, pushing them away and so on, and then whipping out the gun, and, Caesar stepping in, taking the gun away from Carver, kind of pointing it at a couple of the humans, and Malcolm telling him that it's not necessary and such, and Malcolm, how was he supposed to know that Carver had a gun and such? And this is after, after he promised to Caesar that they would dispose their guns. And what Caesar does next, I had a feeling he was going to do this, and which he did, tossing and throwing the gun out to the water. And at that point, Caesar, he's lost his trust in Malcolm and the other humans, and, telling them that they need to leave and such. Leave! So, and just, again, Andy Serkis, he never disappoints. Andy Serkis, he never disappoints, and what he brought to Caesar, really good. And whenever Caesar yells and such, and, Andy Serkis doing a spot-on job, acting like a chimp. So, then at one point, because back at the Ape Village, Caesar is alerted that his wife, Cornelia, is not feeling so well, especially because after giving birth. Malcolm tries to go back and try to talk with Caesar once again to really ensure him, and Ellie tagging along, and when they get there, they can see, and even when Malcolm is trying to talk with Caesar, they notice that Caesar's wife, Cornelia, is not feeling so well, and Ellie tells Caesar that she has medicine. At first, Caesar doesn't want their help and doesn't trust them, and Malcolm, in response, says, I don't blame you, and, what else he says to Caesar, and this does convince Caesar that, might as well let them help his beloved, and which they do, helping out and giving medicine and treating Cornelia, and hopefully if Cornelia pulls through this, and if she's completely okay. And also, I think, because this was behind Caesar's back, kind of. Koba, investigating, along with two other chimps that accompany Koba, traveling back to San Francisco, in the city of San Francisco, that is, and observing what the humans are doing. And they can see, because they have guns, and some of them are doing some target practice. And Koba's suspecting, which is not the case. What he's suspecting, that they might be planning to attack and kill them and such. And there is a moment where Koba does expose himself to two humans that were target practicing. Yeah, just right in front of them, and you think that is he gonna attack them? What's he gonna do? Because they're pointing their guns at Koba. But what Koba does next, because in how the music is getting a little intense, what Koba does next, and just acting goofy and so on, and just trying to interact with the two humans pretty good and such, and well, he's planning something up his sleeves, or should I say his monkey fur. And I know, not monkey, ape and such, and the breed of ape he is, primate. Yeah. So that Koba is going to do something a little bit later on, and him interacting with those two soldiers. So then back at the ape village, because, yeah, they do proceed on, trying to, restore and fix the dam and trying to get power back. And then there's a moment where Koba shows up, and yeah, to speed things up, because Koba showing up and, just trying to, get Caesar's attention, wanting to speak with Caesar. Even at one point, he pushed Alexander. But even before that, because the next day, yeah, the apes along with Maurice, they were interacting with the humans some more. Even two moments, the first one where, an interaction between Maurice and Alexander. But yeah, the part where Koba is wanting to speak with Caesar, he pushed Alexander, on the floor inside of the dam, wanting to get Caesar's attention. Caesar showing up, and Koba telling Caesar that what he saw in San Francisco, humans bad and so on. And by this point, Caesar has had enough of Koba. And yeah, I had a feeling that it was coming, and if you did too, by watching this, anybody watching Dawn, that, Caesar, and you could see the look in his face, and then he just lunges at Koba, fighting him and so on, and he was this close to strangling him to death. But then he stopped, and by Caesar saying, "Ape, not kill ape." And hey, nice callback to the original Planet of the Apes movies, because in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, where they say ape, not kill ape. You see? Nice move that she did, Dawn. Nice move. So it seems like by this point, things are really going well between the humans and the apes, and how Caesar feels towards those group of humans. Not to mention, because Carver was put in his place. He was put back in one of those vehicles that they drove in, arriving at the woods, and nice on Werner's part, if I'm really saying his name right, him putting Carver in one of those cars and just stay and so on. For Koba, he doesn't give a crap. He's gonna do whatever it takes, and the couple of other times he goes back, going back to the city of San Francisco and interacting with those two humans, yeah, because what happens next, the next time he goes there, oh boy. Yeah, and also, because with what had just happened, between Koba and Caesar, and how Caesar is feeling towards the humans now and such, more fully, it seems like, yeah, they're allowed to still stay there and to continue and trying to get the dam working, and, and the hopes of trying to get power back, yeah. And there is another moment, yeah, between Maurice and Alexander, because for Alexander, I didn't talk about Alexander that much. Alexander, he's good at drawing, and he can read, him reading books, and moment between him and Maurice, and Alexander offering Maurice a book that he was reading, and for yesterday, Alexander says to Maurice, and Alexander sitting down with Maurice, teaching Maurice how to read. It's a nice moment. Even Malcolm and Ellie, they wake up and they see what's happening outside of the tent. A really good scene there. And yeah, for Koba, coming back to Koba, and still speed things up, because Koba, the next time he interacts with those two soldiers, well, because they offer him, like, I guess, a drink, coffee, whatever it is, and then, like, there's one moment where Koba spits it out, and then he grabs one of their guns and, kind of gun pointing at them, and then that, like, silly face that he was having, it changes from a sinister look, and then he shoots them cold-blooded with that gun, and thus, what Koba's gonna do next? Oh boy. So later that evening, because, again, things are going pretty well between, the primates and the humans. And then at one point, because how far they've come to trying to, get power back and such, nuclear power, etc., because of the dam. Again, the dam being the key / their chance and hope bringing power back. Well, Ellie calls out Malcolm and having him come see and look at what she's seeing. This abandoned gas station has power, and then music from a radio in the gas station starts to play, and yeah, they're happy to see that power's come back on, and Malcolm thanking Caesar, and Caesar, because Caesar bringing them back to the ape village and pointing them at, city lights, like, because there was a mentioning of, what Caesar said to Malcolm, city lights, and so, the lights, and, Caesar knew what he was talking about. The very first time Malcolm, tried to make negotiations with Caesar and so on, earlier in the film. And well, because by pointing out in the direction where the city of San Francisco is, the city of San Francisco, once again, has power. And you can imagine, because how everybody in San Francisco, the humans, how they feel, having the power come back on. And we do see that a little bit later on. And what happens next? Well, coming back to Carver, because him still in that vehicle, like, put on a very long timeout, basically. He's smoking a cigar and with a lighter, and he can hear off in the distance music playing, and he knows that the power has come back on. They successfully have done so by bringing the power back. And then, out of nowhere, not Carver, well, in front of Carver, outside of the car, right at the car window, Koba being there. Like that, like, if that would not be scary to see right in front of you. Ugh! So, and, even when Carver was saying, the son of a bitch did it, and then, like, he does notice Koba right beside him, right out of the car door, and he starts to panic slowly and such, calmly, that is. And Koba just, just basically getting him out of the car forcibly, and well, that's the end of Carver. He kind of deserved it because of how much of an asshole he does. And again, what Koba is doing and what he's plotting, oh boy, because there is one moment where the apes are celebrating and such, and well, Caesar, he notices Koba at one of the trees on the backside of the ape village. Yeah, best way to put it. He can see that Koba is carrying a gun and pointing directly at Caesar, and Caesar, like, it doesn't take too long for him to realize what Koba's doing, and Koba shooting him, like, good thing, like, he didn't aim for like, his chest and such, because he kind of, like, aimed for right here by one of his shoulders, yeah, and Caesar going down, and, well, Koba setting the gun down, and basically, and if you would figure this out, and if you knew this immediately, Koba framing the humans, saying that they killed Caesar, and thus they can proceed on to the city of San Francisco and start war with the humans. Oh my gosh, like, and it's a nice part on Maurice, because I think, yeah, even Maurice, I was even thinking of this when that happened, and, well, when disaster was about to happen, because I had a feeling that, yeah, Maurice obviously knew that, well, possibly this was Koba's doing, and he helped the humans get out of there, you better run, however he says it. And well, so they get out of there, and even when Koba is, alerting and telling all the primates that Caesar is dead, humans have killed Caesar, because by pointing out the gun, and also, when Koba killed Carver, well, because he took that lighter that Carver had, and basically, lit it and dropped it and started a fire, burning a part of Ape City. God. And well, because now all the primates now following under Koba, even Caesar's son, Blue Eyes, because that's the thing. Blue Eyes was starting to feel that maybe the humans shouldn't be trusted, and he thought that his dad, Caesar, was blinded by how Caesar feels over humans, and was starting to, listen and follow Koba, wrongfully so, because, also, didn't get a chance to mention him, Rocket. Rocket is back in this as well, and nice to see, because Rocket, he, became friends with Caesar, and following Caesar's leadership, and even alongside with Maurice and Rocket, two of the main Planet of the Apes characters, being good apes, and following, rightfully so, Caesar's leadership. And Rocket, once again, being played by Terry Notary, if I'm even saying his last name right still. And also not to mention, because can't forget to mention this, Caesar's beloved wife, Cornelia, she felt better thanks to Ellie and Malcolm, because mostly it was Ellie because of the medicine that Ellie had in her backpack, and Cornelia feeling much better. There was even a moment between Cornelia and Caesar, and Cornelia, telling Caesar about, how he feels towards the humans and such, I guess, assuring Caesar and such, that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure, I knew exactly what was going on and what Cornelia was doing and saying to Caesar. Because, what happens next? Koba and all the primates, they proceed on to the city of San Francisco, and we then cut to seeing the humans, the colony, celebrating because the power coming back on, and there's a bit of silence for a few moments, and with this music playing, because that their celebration is not going to last long because of what is coming towards them. Even a moment with Dreyfus, because him, of course, being happy to see that the power has come back on, and in this room that he was in, he hears the noise of his tablet, turning back on, and because it was being charged, and looking at some old pictures of him and his family, now obviously now lost, and just him breaking down, and just because we understand his pain and with what the heck happened in this Planet of the Apes installment that started with Rise, and 10 years later, you get my point. And still, to speed things up, because, Malcolm, Ellie, and Alexander, they successfully escape, as well as, one or two humans, and one of them being Werner escaping as well. And I don't think we never really see them again. I assume because we see them a little bit later, because when the battle happens. And coming to that now, because, Dreyfus being alerted and, being told that there's something going on outside of the gates where they were staying and residing at in one part of San Francisco, and how, because a couple of soldiers, and a couple at a tank and such, then being ambushed and attacked out of nowhere by the apes, and now, because the apes having, all horses, and, also, they have a lot of guns, and, because the humans at the, at the one location in San Francisco, the colony, because them, unloading their weapons and such, and yeah, just the battle and such outside of the gate, just really cool. And, with the action and such, and, because all this gun firing, and even at one point when it seems like the humans are, losing the battle, well, sure enough, a tank arrives, but Koba being quick enough to take over that tank, and now, because now the humans are outnumbered. They're outmatched by the apes, and them barging and breaking through those gates. And that was a cool shot where it's like a camera being attached to the tank, and the point of view of that camera on that tank, and seeing Koba on top of it, controlling it and charging and crashing and breaking down those gates. A really cool shot there. And well, because, yeah, the humans have lost to the apes. Now, Koba and all the primates, now under his leadership, taking over the city of San Francisco and taking the humans hostage. Even Blue Eyes, you can see in Blue Eyes' face that he's starting to slowly but surely regret being a part of this and such. Even another primate and a friend of Blue Eyes, Ash, I think I'm saying that right. And who played Ash? I'm sure, yeah, here he is. Ash, being played by Lorraine Doc Shaw. Yeah. There was also other characters in this, like there was Kemp, being played by Enrica Morciano. I think I might be getting that right. And I think, yeah, a couple of others who obviously played the human characters. Gray, being played by Lee Ross. Finney, being played by Kerr O'Donnell. McFly, being played by Kevin Rankin. And, yeah. So, and also another character named Stone, being played by Richard King. So yeah, by this point, the humans have lost to the apes. And then the next morning, because, well, they were still there. Malcolm and Ellie and Alexander, because they were hiding when the apes passed by them. And Ellie notices the body of Caesar, and he's not moving, but then when he turns his eyes and looking at Ellie, yeah, he's still alive. And I even knew, of course, that Caesar could not die in this because, well, what happens in the next installment, and until I get to that. So, they help and attend to Caesar, and, well, Caesar telling them what happened, and, what happened to Caesar was done by an ape, which being Koba. And, they travel to the city of San Francisco, and one place where Caesar tells them to go to where they can hide at, and so on. And sure enough, where they remain and hide is the old house/home of Caesar's, old human friend and owner and so on. Yeah, Will. Yeah, Will. It's Will's house. And they don't know it at first, like, about, this house being so important to Caesar and why Caesar chose this house for them to remain in. And, them noticing a photo. Yeah, Alexander noticed a photo of a young Caesar with Will. And them remaining in that house. And Caesar just remembering the good old days of living in that house and with his old human Will. And, I was thinking, I was wondering, and when I was watching the movie, even before I started watching Dawn, like, obviously, because, yeah, James Franco not being in this again, and what's her face who played James Franco's love interest, yeah, them not being in this, I were to assume that their characters, maybe they possibly survived, or maybe not. I mean, the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes really doesn't establish that, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's just something left for us audiences to guess on our own, I guess you could say. So, and so, yeah, Caesar just, yeah, having, memories of being in that house. And also, aside from that, because coming back to, the primates, because them just gathering the humans and so on, even one moment where, they're refusing one of them is refusing to kill two humans that Koba orders, I think, Ash to kill, beat them to death. And Ash basically stands up for himself, him or her, which, because Ash being played by a female, okay? So, I mean, heck, Maurice is being played by a female, as I mentioned. So yeah. So Ash basically standing up and saying to Koba in sign language, Caesar wouldn't want this, and he drops it and he's not going to do it. And what Koba does next, he drags Ash and throws him from up top of the third floor of this building that they're at, and Ash falling to his death. And yeah, Koba killing an ape. And yet what Caesar said, ape not kill. Koba did so. And well, the primates, all the other primates, there's nothing they can do about it because they're still following under the leadership of Koba. Even Koba telling them that Caesar is gone. No, Koba lead, however he says it, yeah. And coming back to the house, them hiding out at, what used to be Will's house, still, just, moments with them being there, even when, one evening, Caesar, and to speed things up some more, because Caesar, going up top the balcony, and what used to be his old room, and he stumbles upon a video camera, and it's still got some power in it, yeah, and by pressing a button, and it plays footage of when he was a little chimp and seen Will, and obviously it's archival footage from Rise, James Franco as Will teaching Caesar how to speak, apple, home, yeah. So, and I think you notice that Caesar is getting emotional. And Malcolm, because he came up and he didn't mean to intrude, but he did overhear the video being played on the camera and wondered who that was, and how Caesar says to Malcolm, an old human friend, however he says it. Then they hear this commotion outside, and, well, because it turns out that, I almost forgot about this. Malcolm went out there in the streets of San Francisco trying to get some medicine, I want to say, to attend to Caesar's wounds. And then, because he was hiding from the primates, and, sure enough, at one point, he stumbled upon and came face to face with Caesar's son, Blue Eyes, and assured Blue Eyes that his father was okay. And then Blue Eyes coming in and being reunited with his father, thinking that it was the humans wounding him, but Caesar correcting him that it was done by an ape, which being Koba, and, then Blue Eyes kind of getting emotional and, with sign language and telling his father what all has happened, even mentioning, Ash being killed. Yeah, so, and, he feels sorry, and Caesar, assures his son that it's not his fault. It's himself to blame because of what has happened, And even Blue Eyes is willing to help out his father by freeing a handful of primates who still follow Caesar. They were basically put under arrest for still following the leadership of Caesar, still being loyal to Caesar. And of course, one of them being Maurice and Rocket. And yeah, Blue Eyes helping out and freeing Maurice, Rocket, and all the others still under the leadership of Caesar. And so yeah, coming back to, well, the moment where Malcolm, he came up to the attic, which, used to be Caesar's old room, and asking him who it was on that videotape and such, and yeah. Then, well, Blue Eyes returning, along with all the other primates still under the leadership of Caesar, and of course, them happy to see that Caesar is still alive. And, well, what happens next is, it turns out that the primates, they find out that the other primates under the leadership of Koba, and Koba himself, that they're making their way to the human tower, as it's called, and Malcolm accompanying Caesar and all the other primates going to stop and confront Koba and the primates, and Malcolm and Ellie, giving each other a kiss, and that's the last we see of Ellie and Alexander, them still being in that hideout, in that house. So that's the last we see of them in this movie. Obviously we know, because they're okay at the end. So, and that goes for Malcolm. So Malcolm again tagging along with Caesar and all the other primates, and then at one point, because there's a bit of gun firing, and we hear a human's voice, and Malcolm telling the one human that it's him, it's Malcolm, and telling Caesar and all the other primates to go on while he holds off the humans and so on, and getting them to listen to him. And so he's reunited with a couple of humans, and one of them being Dreyfus. And it turns out that they're planning to blow up that tower where the apes are at. And what he does next, Malcolm, he borrows a gun from one of them and basically gun points it at them. And basically he gets them to listen to him on what's happening. And, someone is going to confront the main ape leader, which being Koba. And Dreyfus asking Malcolm who's up there and so on. And we see, because Koba and all the other primates up top the tower, and then Maurice, Rocket, and Caesar showing up, and all the others still under Caesar's leadership, confronting Koba, confronting Caesar and such, and yeah, Caesar just, still has really had it with Koba, and well, because then, of course, sure enough, we get another brawl/fight between Koba and Caesar. And, one of them, if one of them gets killed, then, the apes following under their leadership and so on. And for Malcolm, it's a bit difficult. It's being a bit difficult for them trying to listen and understand Malcolm, what's going on. And Dreyfus for sure, because he's not taking any chances. And to speed things up, because yeah, with the brawl/fight between Caesar and Koba still going on, and them falling and hitting parts of that tower and such, and with what they pick up and throw and wound and hurt one another and such, they with that going on, because coming back to Malcolm and Dreyfus. Well, Dreyfus, yeah, because, again, him not taking any chances, he thinks that he's going to save human society and such, and he pushes the button, and an explosion erupts, and luckily Malcolm gets out of there, and, well, Dreyfus and all the other humans, they get killed by the blast, and, well, the blast/the explosion making its way up the tower and causing part of that tower to, be broken and crash and such, and a couple of apes being killed and such, except for a lot of others that didn't get killed, Caesar, he can see Koba is still going on a rampage, even just not helping any of the other apes and such, and letting them get still, hurt and letting them die and such. And then Caesar, he jumps and, jumps on Koba and causing Koba to fall and holding on for, his life and such. And, Koba asking Caesar for help and such. And Caesar does grab, his hand. And what Caesar... You knew that probably Caesar was just going to let Koba die. And what Caesar says to Koba, "You are no ape." However he says it, just basically saying to Koba that he's no ape. And you see the look on Koba's face, he is smiling, just, sinisterly, and then it goes away, because after what Caesar says. And Caesar, he lets go of Koba, and he falls to his death, in addition to him falling to his death, hitting a couple of parts of the tower, and he goes down with it, and, a big crash you hear, and, well, that's the end of Koba. He's done for. Koba is now dead and done for. And now, of course, the primates now under Caesar's leadership again, and then making their way back down the tower, and we do see that, the female Apes and the children, they're all right, and most notably Caesar's wife and second newborn child, they're all right too, and even Caesar was wondering if they were okay, and he was informed by his other son, his first son, Blue Eyes, that they're okay. So yeah, good to see that they survived. And one moment between Malcolm and Caesar, where, because Malcolm, telling Caesar that, they would have had a chance, because basically, to put it this, what they're saying, like, back and forth to each other, that, they would have had a chance to really make peace between each of them, human and ape, but unfortunately, that was all lost because of what Koba did. Koba is the one that started this, and what would happen next in the next installment. And Caesar, because what he said to Malcolm, he hoped that they were able to finally make peace as well, and telling Malcolm that apes started war and human will never forgive, and Caesar and Malcolm touching foreheads. I guess that's a way of hugging, I guess, and, well, they say their goodbyes, and Malcolm just walking off in the dark and such, and that's the last we see of Malcolm, and knowing that a good chance that, well, Malcolm, along with Ellie and Alexander, they'll be safe and sound. And, and to wrap things up, and with what happens right before the movie ends, well, the apes turning to Caesar, and then they all bow to him, and the camera getting close up to Caesar's eyes, and just like how the movie started and where it ends, the close-up shot of Caesar's eyes, and how there's different facial expressions of Caesar's face. It started off with a menacing face, and it ended with a calm-looking face, that close-up of his eyes, and that's how the movie ends, and with the credits rolling. And there was, a bit of, it's not really an end credit scene, but take, for example, how after the credits of Avengers Endgame, we heard a bit of audio, so it's something like this in Dawn, where we hear some echoing and some breathing from, obviously, an ape, and nice way to end it off. And, well, what would come next in the third installment? What Koba started, and from there on, which being War of the Planet of the Apes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Wow, just again, it did not disappoint for me, and clearly to the audience and the Planet of the Apes fans, it was a really good sequel / follow-up to Rise. 20th Century Fox once again did it. The story to Dawn was really good and excellent. The characters and a couple of new faces, the main antagonists, most notably Koba, say Dreyfus and Carver. They really weren't antagonists, and with the funny / emotional moments, the action, the visual effects, and with the motion capture, just excellent. Everything about Dawn did not disappoint. It was a really good Planet of the Apes film, and for it being, the second installment / follow-up to, Rise of the Planet of the Apes in this new piece of Planet of the Apes material. And I'm giving Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, well, 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And what about you guys? What did you think of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes itself? Is it one of your favorites in the Planet of the Apes franchise? And with this, did you enjoy what was going on in it? Were you just really getting into it with what was going on, and with, the funny and emotional moments, the suspenseful moments, the shocking, and, just, oh my gosh, just everything, with the characters, and just everything about Dawn and what I've had to say about it. And, because what Matt Reeves brought to this Planet of the Apes movie, and also not to mention the music. The music was good too, and the composer who did the music, I'll put his name, text. And there were bits and pieces of music in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that reminded me of some bits and pieces of music from the original Planet of the Apes films, like, ding, doo, 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 like that. Like, clearly, because that, for that being in Dawn, that was a nice little mention. I'm pretty sure it was. So yeah, so again, what did you think of the movie itself and with what I've had to say? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like as always. And so with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. One more left. There's only one more Planet of the Apes film for me to review, and to close off the Planet of the Apes review marathon. Stay tuned later tonight for my review of War. Take care, happy anniversary to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and peace out.